Hi friends, Valerie Turner with Close to My Heart, and I am super excited to be with you for this month's Creative Design Studio, home for Christmas cards. We are going to take a look at these Close to My Heart Workshop Your Way cards. Aren't they so fun? Look at those stockings. Thinking of you this Christmas, a gift for you, the season to be jolly. These cards are super cute and so fun to create just as they are, but we are going to make them even better. I am going to create most of these cards 4 different ways, just some slight little changes, but we are going to make them even better. So let's go ahead and get started with card number 1. Here is card number 1 completed 4 different ways, and I am going to walk you through each of these. We are going to start with our stamping. Make sure that you are using the intense black ink because we are going to color, and also don't forget to season your stamp sets. I have 4 pieces of paper ready here because I'm prepping for all 4 of them at the same time. I laid the stockings out so I could decide where to put the little hanger hooks for the stockings. I wanted to make sure that I was going to have them in the right places. You'll see after a bit, I did grab a ruler for the next one so I could draw a line. I was just making sure this was my first one. You know, I'm creating the first time right along with you, so I just wanted to make sure I had everything in there correctly. Okay, so now I'm ready to stamp in my stockings. You notice I got all 3 of them on the same block. I'm just rotating them, turning the block over. And then one of them is going to get pop dotted in the middle, so it's not stamped directly on that paper. Okay, so we're going to do this with all 4 of them. My first one turned out just fine eyeballing it, but I did decide, you know, my friends, because I have such a hard time putting things straight, I did decide to draw a line from 1/8 from the top of each of these squares so that I could put the hooks on the line. So I turned over my Versamat, I used the grids, made that pencil line, which you won't see later because the tree branch is going to cover it, or you could erase it, but it allowed me to make sure that I was keeping those hooks straight across the top. Another great tip for the Versamat. I love that it's grid line on one side and stamping on the other. So now I'm going to go ahead and stamp all 4 of the stockings that are die cut out that are going to go in the center on the middle hook, right? And I'm going to go ahead and finish stamping just like I did on my first square. I'm going to do all 4 at the same time. Sorry, you keep getting my head there in the way. It's early October when I'm creating this video, but I'm curious to know who has started making Christmas cards or who has started Christmas shopping. I want to hear all about it. I know it's not even Thanksgiving yet, and we as crafters need to start thinking about Christmas. These cards here were the first thing that I've done Christmas related. I have not even begun to think about Christmas yet, but ready or not, it's time, crafters, it's time. So now I am just coloring all of these stockings in using our new Spectrum Noir pencils, and they are so amazing. They are so smooth and they blend so nicely. They're not watercolored pencils, but they blend so nicely because they are so smooth. They're like butter. I myself need to take some time and learn a little bit more about them, but I have been loving using them. I have a piece of an all-purpose mat that I've cut down that I love using for adhesive. So I was just grabbing that there, so I apologize for the delay. And I've used that just so I don't get adhesive all over my Versamat or my table, right? So that middle stocking I'm going to put up on some foam tape. I decided I needed to move it over a little bit. You know, I like to fuss. And we are going to do our stamping here. And look at how quick this card's going to go together. I'm going to turn over my all-purpose mat so I can use the grid lines here to help me line up this card and get it center. Brought back in my all-purpose mat to add my adhesive. I'm going to put foam tape behind the stockings. And then we're going to add some stickles. Look at how fun this is. I just love stickles. You'll notice I squeezed some out on a piece of scrap paper there. A couple of things. Sometimes it comes out a little bit clear at the very start, or sometimes it can come out in a big blob. So I always like to do a little bit on a piece of scrap paper first. Use your hand as a guide to help you to get straight lines, and be sure to tap your stickles down when you're finished to help to get the stickles out of the tip so it doesn't clog. I forgot to do along this little black strip here, so I started in the middle and I'm going to work my way out to either side. A tip with doing these little circles like this is to actually go in a little bit of a circular motion when you're applying it. See, I got something caught in my tip there. A little bit of a circular motion when you're applying it. That way you won't get that tail as you lift up from the dot. Okay, so you're going to put it down, you're going to squeeze just a little bit, and as you're squeezing, you're going to move in a little bit of a circular motion so that you don't leave a little tail on them. I noticed that some of mine, when I was just dotting it down, would leave like a little tail on it. But look at how fun that is. So pretty. It dries like little gems. Speaking of gems, I forgot to add the little gems at the top of the stocking hooks, so I just added them in now. Now we are finished with card number 1 per the workshop instruction, and now I am going to color all the rest of the stockings. You'll notice that I colored the remaining 2 with the colored pencils here, and I am going to color 1 of these 3 with the Tri-Blend markers. Tell us below, do you hang stockings at home? And do you fill them? Do you fill them on Christmas Eve? Tell us who you fill stockings for and what types of things you put in them. So here you'll see I'm coloring the one with the alcohol markers. I had so much fun coloring these. Both are great options, whether you use the alcohol Tri-Blend markers or the colored pencils. Either one turns out just as great. Now that we have all of our coloring completed for card number 1, we are ready to assemble card number 1 the second way. I did this one pretty much the same as I did the first, but you'll see I added in some gold glitter paper. I could have gutted out the center of that glitter paper, but I didn't. Honestly, I was needing to be somewhere and I wanted to get it done, but you've seen me do that before, where you got out the center of the glitter paper so that you can save it and use it on a future project. Another change that I did to card number 1 the second way was adding this interactive flap here, and I'll have to give you the sizes. I think it was 3x6, but I'm not positive. I'll add in a little note here of what it was. Because this stamp set, A Gift for You, is more solid, be sure you season it good. I seasoned it on my hand, but I also stamped it off on a piece of scrap paper a few times as well. So I made this little interactive piece for the front. I stamped A Gift for You on the inside, and I'm going to hang the stockings on the top there. Now, because it's glitter paper, you saw I used some foam tape. That's the trick to having things stick to your glitter paper, is to use foam tape. I also played around with the branch here, and I did cut this one on some toffee. So if you have a brown, just a little scrap piece of brown, you can do that as well, or you can use the green. Both look just as great. So look at how fun this is. And so we're going to add in that black strip there. I used my all-purpose mat again, and I decided to move it down a little bit so I wasn't covering that glitter. And here we're going to add in those stickles. I didn't add a lot of stickles to the stockings on this one because I thought that the Tri-Blend markers were already bright and bold, and so I just did a little bit of the stickles to accent on the stockings. And then I added the stickles to that black strip down at the bottom, and I will be honest, the stickles kind of came out really thick on me, so I did end up redoing. I think this was the one I ended up redoing and adding a new strip there because it was just so thick. I don't know what happened. I realized I got sidetracked with the alcohol Tri-Blend markers that I forgot to finish coloring in these other two stockings that get pop dotted in the center. So I'm finishing up these real quick, and I decided to color them each a little bit different. Right? Add a little bit of fun there. There's no right or wrong on these. Color them however you choose. And here I fussed trying to get things straight. It did not look straight to me. Everything seemed a little crooked, so I fussed and fussed. I'm not sure what the issue is, my friends, but I cannot put anything straight. Even with the ruler, I couldn't put it straight. I must have been getting tired. I'm not sure. This has been such a problem for me these days. I finally got what seems straight, and if it's not straight, don't tell me. Just look away, my friends. So I added, instead of that black strip on this one, I added the glitter paper as well as the glitter branch, and I completed the rest of the card just the same way. And I am going to add in some stickles on the stockings, and this time I didn't forget those little gems at the top. Super fun. Notice how I use my finger as a guide to help me, and I use the piercing tool to clean up anything I might need to clean up on the stickles. I just love the glitter paper on the branch and that strip there on the bottom. So which one is your favorite, per the workshop or the glitter?